I'm gonna show you the basic everyday hair tools that I would consider essential for anyone to have to be able to do majority of things that they want to do with their hair on a daily basis without it being anything extra. So let's start with brushes. Everyone needs just like a basic detangling paddle brush. So I have the Ergo Super Gentle Ionic paddle brush. This one's like super gentle, so the bristles are really soft and like run through your hair really nicely. So this is just good for detangling, basically daily brushing, whether you're washing it or not washing it, combing through it wet, combing through it dry. I don't think a lot of us brush our hair enough, so it's nice to have one of these to detangle your hair, brush your hair, stimulate your scalp, but then also to brush out curls or whatever, stuff like that. So paddle brush. Number one essential. You gotta brush your hair. And then what I would say is more of it's an essential for me, but not necessarily an essential for everyone, is a Mason Pearson. So that's the boar bristle brush, and it has silicone bristles in there, but this is what I prefer to brush my hair with every day because it makes it really silky, and the bristles are a little harder, so it is nice to get in at the scalp harder, and it just makes your hair really silky. I also use this a lot for like slick back styles. Because of the boar bristles, it makes it really shiny and sleek. So it's an essential for me because that's what I'm using for that stuff. And I like to travel with it. I love this brush. But again, not necessarily an essential unless you want it to be. Next on the list is gonna be a Denman brush or a vest brush. This one I think is essential because, in my opinion, you should be using this every time you rough dry your hair. It's also an amazing brush if you have short hair for your entire blow dry. So you get a bit of bend, you get a bit of volume. You're not using a round brush as much when your hair is short. So this is a very versatile brush no matter what hair type you have. You can also use it to define your curls if you have curly or wavy hair. This one I just can't live without. Once you have it, you'll have it the rest of your life. Next on the list would be a round brush. So I have this Ergo Super Gentle brush. It's called ERG 53, but basically, what is that, like 2 inches, 2.5 inches? This size round brush I think is pretty versatile for most hair types and most lengths of hair. It's going to smooth your hair mostly, but also give it a little bit of bend. And it can fit in short hair and kind of smooth and bevel it, but it can fit on long hair, kind of medium length or extra long. This is the size that I use in the salon on pretty much every length of hair and every hair type. I would just not use the super gentle on every hair type, use the super gentle on myself, but I would use the more regular one if I need more tension and grip or a more coarse or dense long hair type. But I think everyone needs a round brush, and everyone needs to learn how to round brush their hair because it's going to be a classic look that you will wear forever. You can teach your children how to wear it. It'll make your blow dry last longer, and you'll be able to not wash your hair throughout the week as many times. Also, you could obviously add to your round brushes any other size as well, but I think having one round brush that's kind of your basic size, that can give you a little curl, it can smooth your hair out. Start with one, go from there. Next thing you're gonna need if you're blow drying your hair would be a blow dryer. So I use the Dyson, obviously. I'm obsessed with it. I think it's superior to pretty much every other blow dryer, but any blow dryer works. The next thing I would say is important if you have a blow dryer is to always have a concentrator, because when it comes to blow drying your hair, especially with a round brush, if you're trying to blow dry it without the concentrator on, that air is gonna just fly kind of all over the brush and not get the hair quite as silky. So when you concentrate the air in one spot, you can direct all of those little hairs very specifically. You're gonna get a lot more smooth blowout. Next, I would say that is helpful is having a comb. And if you're going to have a comb, I would just say go ahead and get a rat tail comb versus a comb that doesn't have a little rat tail on it, because not only is this helpful versatile for parting the hair and smoothing the hair when you're kind of doing slick backs or ponytails or whatever. If you have the rat tail on it, then when you're doing a ponytail or when you're sectioning or whatever, you're able to smooth things out, tuck things in, part as well with that. And so if you're not going to have a multitude of combs and you would just pick one comb, I would say get a rat tail comb with bristles that are closer together, a little bit more fine bristles, because you have a paddle brush that have bristles that are further apart. So if you're detangling your hair or something, you can use a brush versus a comb. The comb is more for kind of like smoothing and doing a little bit more detail work. So I think it's important for everyone to have a comb. Next thing could be a little like toothbrush. I wouldn't say this is essential necessarily if you have like a Mason Pearson, because this is going to smooth your hair out very well. But if you don't have a Mason Pearson, which is a lot more expensive than one of these, then it would be worth investing in just a little like toothbrush brush, because when you do pull your hair back and do a slick back look, having one of these to smooth all of those little baby hairs and kind of get them to lay in place is gonna be super helpful. Honestly, I got this one off of Amazon. I think it's a little too small. I think I would go like a little wider just so you can work more hair all at once. I think that'll be more versatile for majority of people. This might work on some people, but I would, going back, get a little bit of a wider one. After that, I would say everyone needs some alligator clips. These are great because they grab a lot of hair. They're great for sectioning. They're pretty gentle, so you can hang on to a lot of hair with it, but it's not gonna rip your hair out. We all know sectioning is very important when it comes to your blow dries, if you're doing them correctly and efficiently, and they'll just make your life a lot easier. So get them. You know, you can also use these to wrap your hair up at night if you want to, and kind of take all of your hair for your style, wrap it up in a really loose bun on the very top of your head and clip that and sleep in that at night. I wouldn't say it's like the most comfortable thing ever, but it works. So it's good for that. And if you have it, why not? Next thing I would have are little duckbill clips. These are nice for a multitude of things. These are also nice for some sectioning when it comes to like small sections. You can use the tip of it kind of like you would a comb to create really nice clean sections, but also to wrap up like smaller sections of things and hold them. What I use them for a lot of the time at home, or most of the time at home, is when I do a blowout and I'm trying to set my curls, and I wrap them up and use one of these little clips to clip right in there to hang on to that shape there, right? So having some of these, probably like 10 to 12 of these, is going to be really helpful when it comes to blowout styles. Another thing I like to have are just these cute little no crease clips. I use these on a regular basis after I've done my blow dry to just clip back my bangs when I'm doing my makeup. Even if my hair is kind of like damp, you can kind of pull those to the side and get them to lay a little bit smoother. And these just aren't going to put a crease in your hair. If it's kind of freshly styled or a little bit warm still, that's when a clip like this, like a duckbill clip, would leave a little crease in your hair if you were to use that instead, right? So those are just nice to have. The next thing I would say is hair ties. I think everyone should invest in like these little spandex or nylon. What is it? I can't remember if they're spandex or nylon, but these are just like kind of really soft, really stretchy hair bands. These are like the only hair bands that I use when it comes to like my slick back looks and my tighter ponytails, because I need them to get tight, but I want them to be gentle and not damage my hair. And if you have kind of the average ponytails where they're just like this, they have like that rubber inside and then they're cloth on the outside, these ones just tend to kind of like bind the hair a little bit too much, and they end up breaking a lot, and I think damaging the hair a lot more. So having some soft ponytail binders are very important. The next thing I would say are little U-pins are super helpful, or little hairpins. I like the long ones, which I think these are, what are these, like 2 inches long? I don't know, I like the long ones because I can handle more hair with them. So if I were to go with one or the other, the long ones or the short ones, I would always go with the long ones, because you can take and like kind of wrap the hair up with them more and like work with them a little bit more. But I wear my hair in the slick back bun and stuff like that a lot, or wrap hair around my ponytail, and these tend to just hang on the best while being a little bit more gentle, I think, on the hair than a bobby pin would be. There's more room for error with these, whereas when you use a bobby pin, it's so tight and stiff that a lot of times it creases the hair or tangles the hair up a little bit, or ends up kind of pulling things in ways that you don't want them. And also, I think it's just easier to cause breakage with a bobby pin versus a hairpin. Honestly, you know, like you should just have some of both just in case, but if you're gonna have one or the other, I would go with hairpin. Moving on from blow drying the hair, the other things that I use would be a flat iron. I have the Ergo flat iron. I've been using it for years. I love it. It has this little rubber grip, which I think you can put back on even when it's still hot. It's got a kind of rounded shape here, which I like, so that, because I do use it for curls a lot, and so the hair glides around it very well. It has a dial to help you choose the temperature. It heats up super quickly, so that's really nice. I love a flat iron. Not that I use a flat iron weekly. I would say I probably use my hot tools more like a few times a month versus like weekly, but a flat iron is going to be essential in terms of styling your hair quickly and being able to do a multitude of styles with one tool, which I love. I use this obviously if I want to wear a super stick straight look. Usually I'll flat iron my hair if it's like day 2 hair, day 3 hair, because my hair is already kind of smoother and weighed down, and then I'll just end up hitting the ends to make those a lot glossier. But I can also do flat iron curls with this, or flat iron waves, or a bend with this. So it's just nice to have a good flat iron that's gonna glide through your hair nicely, and to learn how to do a multitude of styles with one tool. I honestly don't really use a curling iron much, so if I had to choose between a flat iron and a curling iron, I would choose a flat iron. But I will still recommend just having a curling iron. That would be your next thing. I use this Hot Tools one. I believe this is like 1.25 inches. I like one with a clamp. That way I can kind of do the little beachy wave curls. You can do bends with this too. You can use it as a wand by just opening the clamp and wrapping your hair around it. I would say if you're going to get a wand or a curling iron, if you want more versatility, go with the curling iron, because you're going to be able to still use it as a wand or a beach waver or this or that. Again, I don't really use my curling iron that much unless it's for a very specific style. I can usually get most things accomplished with my flat iron or my blow dryer, which is so nice. Blow dryer is gonna give you the least amount of heat damage, which is what I love most because I have fine hair that's fragile and it breaks pretty easy. So I like to be very conscious of that and be gentle on my hair. But I need a flat iron in order to get some more versatility with the styles that I do. And then on top of that, I would just say you need products. All of those products are different per person. The main things I use are always a leave-in conditioner and heat protectant, some kind of hold product, and then hairspray. And perhaps the fourth one would be like a smoothing fluid. I don't think everybody needs that though. Most people could go with just hairspray. So if you're gonna go with 3 products in general, and they could be different on so many levels, it would just be something for moisture and heat protectant. So that's a leave-in conditioner and a heat protectant. A hold product, which could be a mousse or a gel, or a volumizing product or a texture product. And then lastly, some kind of hairspray or finishing product. I believe those are all of my basic essentials for my weekly hairstyling. It's kind of a lot when you think about it, but I also am a hairstylist and I do like versatility and I do my hair a lot, but I'm very conscious about keeping my hair healthy. Depending on your hair type and what you're doing on a regular basis, you could probably narrow that down a little bit more, or you might have to expand it a little bit more. Like I said, this is like my basics for that I use weekly versus like as a hairstylist, my kit in general is massive compared to what I just showed you in terms of a lot of different sizes of things, a lot of different tools, a lot of different products. So let me know if you have any questions, or if you think that's like way too much, or if you think I missed some things because I feel like I touched on everything, but sometimes things slip my mind. So I'm gonna link everything in the description, and also I am building a website, and so I will be putting everything on my website, so then you guys can just go there and find everything that you need all in one spot. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. Let me know if you want more content like this or if you hate it, and I'll see you guys next time.